My fiancé cheated on me with my father. Me, 27M, fiancé 16F, let's call her Lauren, my father 52M, Brian, my mother 50F, Rachel. Like many who've had something like this happen, I never thought it would happen to me, but here we are. I've never used Reddit, but I've seen stories from here on TikTok, so I thought I'd give this a shot for any advice you all could give me. From listening to some other stories, you all like backstory. I'll try and be as clear and precise as I can, but it's only been a week, so if I start to lose it while telling this, I'm sorry. Lauren and I met in her freshman year of college. We were both dorming in the same building where we eventually met. We later found out we lived 2 towns away from each other, so whenever we went home, I let her drive with me. It only added like 20 minutes, so it was no big deal. After multiple trips and hanging out at school, we started to date. I have a close-knit family, as did she, so we told our families right away. I had met hers plenty of times when dropping her off, but it was nothing more than introductions and exchanging pleasantries. Both of our families accepted each other with open arms, and our relationship grew. I was a year ahead of her, so when I graduated, I went home, where I was offered a good job with great pay. I visited her at school whenever I got the chance, and whenever she came home, we would make time for each other. After she graduated, she moved in with me, as both of our jobs were in the city near where we grew up. Like me, she was offered a position at the company she works at now with great pay. After living together for about 3 years, I proposed, and we had been planning our wedding since. Now on to the part you're all reading for. Looking back, there were plenty of things I overlooked that I just wrote off, thinking my father was just trying to welcome my fiancée into our family. Things like Brian calling her all the time, and if I was around, they would just tell me they were talking about the upcoming family party or something like that. One time, Lauren was in the shower and her phone rang. I saw it was my dad, so I answered. When he realized it was me, he sounded both upset and surprised. I asked what's up. He responded that he wanted to talk to Lauren about my mother's birthday that was in a week. After a minute, we ended the call. Even typing this out now, I feel like an idiot for not seeing it sooner. The day I found out was like any other. Lauren had Thursdays off, so she made breakfast for both of us. When I set out for work, she gave me a kiss and told me to have a great day. During my drive to work, I realized I had forgotten some paperwork I would need for a 3 p.m. meeting. I shrugged it off and told myself I'd just go home at lunch to get it. Lauren texted me throughout the day casual stuff couples talk about, like, what do you want for dinner? I did the laundry, should I hang it up, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think it was necessary to tell her I was coming home for lunch, so when it came around, I just left work and headed home. When I got home, I noticed a car that looked like my father's in our parking lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I parked and went into our building. When I opened the door, I was met with a scene out of a movie where a man comes home early and catches his spouse cheating, such a cliché. There was a trail of clothes, both his and hers, leading to my bedroom, and the sound of faint moans echoed through my apartment. I stood at the door in utter shock, my brain a mix of rage, sadness, and disgust. But if you were a fly on the wall, you would have seen a statue. I just couldn't move. When I finally snapped to no idea how much time had passed, I took out my phone to record. I picked up all the clothes from the floor and threw them into the hallway. Then I filmed the walk to my bedroom. The door was open. I stood in the doorway filming for about a minute, then flipped on the lights. They both jumped at the sudden light and looked at me, and to my utter shock, it was Brian in the bed with Lauren. After the initial stun, my father noticed I was recording and started to panic, trying to find anything to cover himself and telling me to stop recording. He found a towel, wrapped it around himself, and started walking toward me. I told him, if you don't want to get hurt, stop coming toward me. He either didn't care or didn't hear me and reached for my phone. I hit him square on the jaw, his head bounced off the door, and he slumped to the ground. Lauren shrieked. I aimed the camera at her and said, concerned about your fuck buddy, but nothing to say to your fiancé? Brian woke up after about a minute, and I told them, I just needed to pick something up for work, so I'm heading back. If either of you pieces of Stein are here when I get back, I'll send this video to everyone you know. I ended the video, looked at my dad still coming to, and said, you're dead to me. You're no longer my father, but you might want to go home and talk to Rachel, because I'll be talking to her very soon. I sat in my car for a while until one of the bosses at work called to ask where I was. I told her I was on my way back now. When I got to her office to hand her the paperwork, I must have looked awful because she started asking what was wrong. I told her it was nothing, and that I'd be okay. I could see her scanning me up and down. She noticed blood on my collar and stood up, rushed to me and said, you're bleeding. I looked down and said, it's my father's. She looked confused, so I pulled out my phone and showed her the video. She watched it in its entirety. She had met Lauren a few times, but never Brian. She sat there silent for a moment until it finally clicked that my fiancé was cheating on me, but not just cheating with my father.